Senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU Pistols and Pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV begins right now. Thanks for tuning to it. Always appreciate you. That's Ira. That's Corey. I'm Jeff. Hello, boys.
What up? What up?
Everybody good?
Yeah.
I was until I just saw that news from ESPN.
So is that accurate? I just saw the chat. I hadn't double
I went
checked.
and looked on Twitter. It looks like they've announced they're going to Texas, Ohio State.
Oh, sorry, Lee.
Before we get to that, let's start with a little yay sausage before we get sidetracked and rail against ESPN, which is always easy to do. Start with the good things that are register sausage and the variety of sausages.
All of the variety.
All
of
of them.
Yeah. I was waiting for Ben. Ben put up a poll last week, or I guess it was a contest. He did a contest last week. If you're following Register Sausage on Twitter or X, did a little contest with asking people to fill in the blank about some sausage. You know, it kind of took a turn.
Phrasing.
Some of the phrasing got a little interesting. But listen, Ben's all about the engagement. And so he got, I think he got what he wanted. It was for the short links. And was asking for anyway. But
there's a lot of conversation about it's not the size of the link.
That kind of that's kind of where we're going there. But anyway, Register Sausage is phenomenal. All of the different varieties. Again, I was at we were on the road this weekend. Kim and I went out of town and we were at a hotel with a continental breakfast.
Y'all were in Corvallis.
No, we were not actually. Right. But we were at a hotel that probably not as fancy as wherever you stayed at your last place. And
sure.
But they had some imposter register sausage. That's what I call it. Every sausage that's not registered. Imposter sausage. That's what we call it. And it depends, even wherever you are in the country, even if registers is not available in stores there, I'm disgusted. And I was a little bit frustrated by it, but listen, I need to start taking registers with me on the road. Now, that might be the next step.
You could be the ambassador and let people taste it.
What if I brought it to the continental breakfast?
You're going to bring your sausage to the breakfast. Oh, and ask them to cook it up for you. That's not bad. People smell it. They probably
appreciate you.
Yeah.
You would like to think.
Nobody ever comes and brings their own sausage to a breakfast at a hotel.
But if you go to registermeats.com, you can have it delivered wherever you live in the country in these continental United States. Comes fresh in a package. It's premium sausage. None of the crazy fillers that some of these national brands put in to boost their stock price and their profits. It's good quality, high quality, premium pork sausage.
So, this is the best sort of ad we got going right here, man. I saw in the chat right off the bat, Jay Rathel writes, after listening to this show for a while, I decided to try Register Sausage. Well, that's the goal.
That's what we do. That's why we get paid the big bucks.
That's what it's about. My favorite way to eat it has been cutting the baby links up and putting them into Alfredo. That was good stuff. Yay sausage.
All right, that's interesting.
So, and he followed it up with a yay sausage post as well. Really into the sausage.
Thanks, Jay. So it's great stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Be like Jay, everyone. Be like Jay.
I'll mention it to Kim because she might. I'm not an Alfredo guy, but she is. So maybe she'll try it out.
So there you go. That's the ultimate compliment. We got it right out the gates there. So I would imagine big raises, boys.
Yeah, you're welcome, Ben. You are welcome.
Keep documenting, guys, in the chat every time. We'll just start sending pictures to Ben and make it happen from there. All right, well, the baseball season's over. Now you get to officially lock into either the never-ending doldrums that are the rest of the summer until football starts, or the anticipatory excitement towards ACC kickoff, buddy.
Oh, yeah, it's not too far away.
I mean, we'll all be up there together, right?
5 weeks away. It's not close enough.
That's pretty close.
To anticipate.
It's pretty close.
It takes a lot for Corey to get excited.
It has to be the day of.
Yeah. Even then.
Excited. All right, so that sucks, by the way, with the news out the gates that apparently ESPN has chosen Ohio State, Texas, which is a bigger game. Admittedly, it's a rematch of last year's semifinal.
If you're into that,
if that's the sort of
thing, if you're in the teams that had winning records and were in the playoffs last year.
But it is surprising that they didn't let Lee in.
Well, it's surprising because Fox will be there, right?
Yeah,
like that's why we thought maybe they
made their big noon game.
Yeah.
It would be. Listen, I hope we have a lot of pull here. Maybe
you think they fly him in though, and have him do it?
Or hope Florida State does something similar. Like have it. Listen, man, it's his last game day, but Lee Corso. Not East Texas A&M maybe, but a home game. Have Lee Corso out there. Plant the spear.
Happen, I would assume.
We can have their own party. You don't need Reese Davis to be there.
The Miami game.
For sure. Nobody ever said, "Hey, it ain't a party until Reese Davis is here."
Yeah, that's for sure.
No, Lee Corso's son is an avid listener to this show as well as the Jeff Cameron show. I think probably Wake Up Warchant. I know he's all things Noles. He's up there in Atlanta. And I would imagine he'd talk to his dad about, like maybe we should get him on here. Get him on the show here. But also, like, I would think FSU's got to have him do something this year.
I mean, I feel like he's the he's like the Dick Vitale of college football, and he's your guy. I mean, he was roommates with Burt Reynolds, for crying out loud. And I feel like he's been there, I want to guess 35 years, 38 years. I mean, I feel like in my childhood, I was watching him on game day. It was Tim Brando and Bino Cook.
Yep. Good old Bino
Cook. That was a time.
When it got late in his career and he was in the studio and he couldn't hear him.
What? Yeah, he wasn't on set. He was in that studio in Pittsburgh. And then Corso replaced him. And Corso was great out of the jump. And I just feel like he's been Florida State. He is a Nole, like a Nole, like back to the 50s. And he needs to be celebrated here in some capacity.
I want him to plant the spear.
Be nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
You're right. It doesn't need to be East Texas CC or
the
Miami game.
And that'll be their – I think the first thought from some people would be, let's do it at a game where you need to boost attendance.
Yeah, please don't.
Right.
Please don't. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think you're going to get that many seats in the –
it's not a
in the stands because Lee Corso is planting the spear. You're not going to do that. And it didn't help when Mickey Andrews announced his retirement before that Maryland game. It was still nobody there. So, Lee, don't do it for that. Do it when there's a bunch of people there and he can get the ovation he deserves. So maybe he can fly to the game right after game day. The Alabama game's 3:30, right?
Yeah, man, he's 89, though.
Well, I mean, he's not flying the plane. He can sit in the back and
I'm sure it's the lap of luxury of the flight. They can make it. Let's make it happen.
Make it happen, Lee.
Damn it, man. Well, anyhow, that is not surprising, I don't suppose.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you think about it, Alabama was not Alabama and Florida State clearly was not Florida State last year.
I get it. I think a lot of people would have been like, wait, what are they doing at Alabama, Florida State? But then if you thought if they came, it would be to honor Lee Corso and his career and everything. But they'll do that in, I guess, Austin. Is it Austin? Where are they at? Austin, Columbus? Which one? Austin? Just trying to think of the flight
or not. Yeah. By the way, do you know? So Corey, this doesn't excite you, but I did double check it here. To that week 0 game,
87 days away.
73.
Oh, we're getting there.
Oh.
73 and 23 hours. So it's really 74 days until college football begins in earnest. That's actually not terrible. Like after this weekend, we're in the 60s. Come on, man. You got to be feeling good about that.
Yep. Once we get to the 30s, I feel like then you can taste it.
So when the final out was made on 14-10,
and it was not an out, it was a ball low. That was kind of a bummer. That was a bummer.
Bit of a bummer. Yeah.
I love because then Miles Bailey's the tying run. He's on deck. Yeah. Like you've actually got a real chance. I mean, it wasn't going to happen most likely, but
you can't complain about it too much. You gave him 14 runs.
14 runs.
You're down 14-4 in like the 4th inning. So you can't do a whole lot of complaining. But what a ridiculous call.
So at 13. And I love resigned myself to a loss.
And I love that ESPN never showed a replay of the last pitch.
Yeah.
In fact, they showed the celebration of the pitcher sticking his tongue out and all that, but they didn't show the actual pitch, which would have been funny to show the replay of a pitch
ball
that's 3 inches off the ground.
Yeah, I didn't. A lot of, I think it's a mixed reaction for the fan base. Nobody likes to see their team's season end. It's always frustrating if it come up short, especially since this thing has played out in a really weird way. It's one of, you can describe it a lot of different ways if you're a college baseball fan. It's either the worst field you've ever seen in Omaha or the most interesting and surprising.
Well, real quick, you said the worst field. I thought you were talking about Oklahoma State still. What are we doing there? How many you guys watch more college? You certainly watch more college baseball than I do. Are there many fields like that?
You mean Oregon State?
Oregon State, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right.
That are all carpet?
No.
I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, right. The mound doesn't need to be, the base paths don't need to be right.
And in fact, I'm pretty sure, man, I've gotten pretty good at reading lips, especially with this pitching staff, because there's a lot to read from this pitching staff, their lips. I think I saw Jamie complaining about the mound, like when he was walking off at some point. I thought he said something about the mound being BS or something.
Luckily, it didn't affect him because he was
he wasn't great early.
He was terrible early. Yeah.
Might have taken a little while to get used to it. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not making excuses. They lost. That's fine. But what are we doing? And then, like,
that's a real program. That's a very, very good program, clearly.
And the way, you could see clearly they play to it. The third baseman, I mean, he's throwing 2 hoppers to first base because he knows that he's going to get a true bounce.
It's a money.
I wonder why they do that. Yeah, the money.
It's always money. Look, man, I get this gets me down the path of complaining about a lot of things. Look, we live in the state of Florida, and every effing high school field in the state now is artificial turf.
Right. Well, that's money.
It's absolutely stupid. If you can't grow grass in Florida, you can't grow grass. It's ridiculous. It's not that hard to maintain. Anyhow, it is money. You're right, and it drives me nuts. It's an awful surface.
Yes, Tony in the chat says that somebody from Oregon State said that it's because of all the rain they get out there, which I guess I get it.
Yeah,
but it's also like, okay, well, maybe that's why you don't have a super regional there.
Maybe that's why you don't get nice things, Oregon State.
I mean,
get out of that stupid climate.
Anyway, I mean, it's loser's limp, I'm sure, being a baby, but like the more that series went on, the more I was irritated at that field.
I didn't think about
the field level. It looks like it's carpet. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then for it to be the mound,
Max almost scorpioned over there at third trying to slide.
Oh, that was crazy. He almost knocked himself out.
Like, sir.
And also the camera angle, anytime there's a runner on second, you're like, well, I don't know if that was a strike or not because the base runner's right in our way. But yeah, look, man, that's a good team. And I came to a conclusion about Florida State, and it reminded me of Florida State baseball. It reminded me of Moneyball, which is a great movie, by the way, if nobody's seen that. Very, very good. I can't believe they turned that into a movie. And it was really, really well done.
I was stunned. If you recall all the rumors that it was going to be made 6 different times.
Yeah, yeah.
Never made.
It's like, what are y'all talking about? It's
why are you even trying?
The dramatic conclusion is they get Ricardo Rincon in a trade.
Yeah.
But he said when he's interviewing for the Red Sox, he's like, I feel like data is the way you solve the curse of them being
Right.
In watching Florida State on this weekend, when was the last time, number one, that they had a lights out bullpen? It certainly hasn't been since I've been here. And that was 08, that Buster Posey.
Tyler Chambliss? Maybe.
Yeah.
Like Ben Costa was a good closer, but I don't remember the other arms in that pen. Jameis Winston was a pretty good closer when he pitched some, but I don't remember the other. But they've never had a lights out bullpen. And maybe that's how you attack whatever postseason curse this is. Try that on for size and see how it does in the postseason.
This didn't feel like a curse.
Well, no, but I mean, just if you look at the last 40 years, you find ways to lose, and most teams do, but you always find a way to lose dramatically and heartbreakingly, whether it's Tennessee and Omaha. Now, he probably did swing, but you also had a big lead in that game and let it go late. This one, you had a 4-1 lead in the ninth with your only real reliever that you believed in on the mound. And it's like, man, let's just try on what it looks like to have a lights out. It doesn't guarantee anything. But see what it looks like.
Yeah, but I don't even. Well, you're saying total bullpen, which I agree with, and which you wrote about.
Yes, yeah. You don't need just a closer because you put too much pressure on that. But you need 5 arms, 7 arms that you really can count on, that are good, that you put money into if you have to. Man, that is such a luxury to have.
Yeah, you definitely have to.
And Florida State has never done it. As far as I remember, again, I'm not as steeped in baseball history as you are, but
they've had some very good bullpens in the past and found other ways to lose. I mean, we've gone out there in the 90s with good bullpens, but then played punch and Judy baseball despite having an overpowering lineup. And, Martin was hell-bent on, bunting guys over and kind of stuff.
Maybe the 19 team. I mean, they had J.C. Flowers. He was good. They lost the game 2-0 and another game like 3-1.
I would also say
that was the dead bad era.
And I said this at the time. I don't know if you yelled it at the screen at the CP or anybody else watching it, but you asked Charles to do a lot there, and you got a guy that throws 100. You can go get one out. Here's 99 and let it eat.
But again, he had an ERA of 6 coming into the postseason, why is that?
But when you're asking Charles to get more than 7 outs and 40-plus pitches, and you got a guy who throws 99.
It'd been nice. It'd been nice to see if the kid's hitting 154, if he can catch up with 99, would be a nice thing to see.
I'm gonna let it ride and see what happens.
So that to me is when I just look back at this Florida State baseball team, because they're good, man. They're so good. It's a great program. He is a really good coach. The bullpen, fix it. Just see what it looks like to have a sensational bullpen. Also, do the right things on
run the bases.
Run the bases well, because it always does come back to bite you. And when you're Florida State, you don't want to tease the gods, tempt the gods by not running hard on a ball that's off the wall, because that would have cost you at least 1 run, maybe 2 runs if Gage Harrelson gets a hit after that. And it doesn't come down to Joe Charles. Just play the game the right way when it matters the most.
The one thing I did want to say, just to give them the benefit of the doubt, the coaching staff, the interview you did last week with Joe Freeman, who covers Oregon State, he pointed out that they do mash fastballs, and they did not look good against a lot of his earlier off-speed pitches. So, I get it. Hindsight for sure. Come back with
with Charles?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bad pitch. The kid looked gross the first two swings he had.
I just also think once you get to the second guy on base, you probably need to make the move.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And
I definitely. Well, yeah.
But again, that's the problem is even Prescott, you say he throws 100. It's not like he'd been lights out all year. You don't have any other options you truly believe in down there. Maybe you would have, if he'd have pitched that game, you'd have believed in him for Sunday, but then he hopefully did not blow out his arm.
Yeah, that was insult to injury, or injury to insult, I should say. Yeah, that was frustrating. This one it didn't fall into the category of I can't believe you blew it. You go clear across country. You are the lower seeded team. That Oregon State program is very, very good. You did very well to replace all that you lost a year ago.
Yeah, it was a really
good baseball team. They got some holes that we knew that they had. I don't disagree with you about trying to find more options out of the pen. I think it's probably difficult for a lot of programs to find a deep bullpen unless you're named Arkansas and you're spending millions, of which they have. You are at a money deficit against a couple of SEC programs that are all in on baseball. So I don't know that you're going to always have that. And then they got really hurt by the Crest injury, and I can't overstate that. I mean, I really think that if he had stayed healthy, Mendez ends up being your long reliever.
Or he does.
Or he does. Yeah. But it slots differently. Yeah. It changes everything. And
the problem, though, in this era of fandom, with social media and live interaction and commentary on social media, any bait you put out there for the people that are looking for reasons to go after a coaching staff.
Sure.
And there were a lot in that Friday game. I mean, listen, man, they ran the bases terribly.
They did.
And it ended 3 possible big innings, got squashed because of that. They should have been up way more than 4-1. Then, you kind of help them take the game. I mean, Oregon State's a good team. Give them credit for it. But, man, the wild pitch, the walking a pinch hitter, I mean, it's just bad baseball. There was a lot of examples of bad baseball. So the fan base, which is always going to be, the fans are always going to be looking for who to blame. You gave them a lot of raw meat. And then to come out of the gates and look the way they did on Sunday, it's like, man, what's going on here?
Well, that one, that's a toughie, because what are you going to do with Mendez? I mean, he didn't have anything.
But that goes to the argument of why maybe don't invest as much in starting pitching and maybe more.
I was going to ask you that. Like, obviously in Major League Baseball, starting pitching is the key to everything. You want 4, 5 really good ones. But you also see when it gets to the postseason, these teams will ride 4 pitchers total. They'll have a starter pitch out of the bullpen for 2 innings. If Bobby Cox would have adopted that back in the 90s, the Braves would have 3 more World Series. Instead, he's running Jeff Reardon out there instead of Tom Glavine. And Jeff Reardon was good back in the day. We get it, but not with the Braves. I wonder if maybe it's like, man, I don't know that you need 3 starting pitchers. In fact, I'm almost positive you don't. Have 2, and then everything else goes into the bullpen. Like that's the recipe, man.
Yeah, and you'll suffer a few more regular season losses like that, but you're fine with that. Yeah.
Well, I will say this, Michael Posey's getting a lot of grief. Obviously, people want to be mad at the coach, and I get it. He's the pitching coach. The pitching staff did not have a good weekend overall, but think about 2/3 of that staff were guys that had not done anything at their previous schools. I mean, Wes Mendez you would not have looked when you looked at Wes Mendez's stats coming out of Ole Miss, you would not have said, oh yeah, that's definitely going to be one of your top 2 or 3 pitchers. I imagine
Bellini was decent.
Bellini was solid, but he was not like and he was 2 years off of Tommy John. So maybe you're hoping that he has that big bounce, but again, I think they did a good job with the staff overall, but at the end of the day, when everybody's watching, and that's what happens in postseason baseball, that's when even the casual fans are watching, and then you get the tweets, oh, it's Florida State again.
Corey, I know you looked up the numbers and posted it in the article, which was a 5.68 or whatever it
5.78 ERA for the bullpen.
So, I was jotting notes during the weekend.
1.6 base runners per inning.
So, I know they expected to get a lot more out of Rowan, Holtz, Lauk, Abraham. They thought they were going to get so much more out of a lot of guys. Barrett. They got nothing out of any of those guys.
What's the deal there? Like, what's the common denominator is what I'd say. And that sounds like I'm advocating for something, and I'm not. But I don't understand how a kid that throws high 90s all season and has a breaking ball for strikes can look as lost as Prescott looked at times. Like was complete, like through BP.
I don't think he located his slider very well most of the year, and so kids just sat dead red. Now it's different.
But even it's 99 dead red, man. Could Florida
agree.
State, if they're sitting dead red at 99, just crash and
if you
mash?
have no other pitch to respect, perhaps.
But, so I think they pitch behind and counts way too much.
Well, I think, listen, if we're going to do this, and Micah and I can have this conversation, I'd love to talk with him about it because I've really enjoyed my conversations with him. We throw way too many breaking balls.
Yeah.
Period. And if you watch a lot of college baseball, it stands out to you that this is remnants of the all curveball conference, the ACC from back in the day. We do not, I don't know if it's a philosophy or if it's what they recruit to. You don't have a ton of guys that locate the fastball and pitch off of it. And yes, you do with a couple of starters, but out of the pen, man, we love to throw some damn breaking balls.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. So that's a complaint I have. I don't know. He may have a great answer for that.
I mean, get lucky. I don't care. I'm not saying he's a bad pitching coach, not at all. I mean, look what he did with Jamie Arnold, for crying out loud. And Bellini was good this year. Mendez had moments, but it's like, get lucky. Find guys that have confidence. I don't know why none of the guys that come into the game for Florida State out of the bullpen typically don't look like they have a ton of confidence to throw strikes. Prescott did, but where did that come from? You know what I mean? Like he wasn't that guy all year, and he was incredible.
And he threw the fastball, and it was.
But it's like I can't imagine the people in those stands on Saturday night being like,
"Who is this dude?
Why did they not throw him yesterday?"
What's funny about that is, like literally 3 weeks ago, I was talking to somebody, and he's like, "Hey, who's the big guy? They need to not pitch him anymore." And he was talking about Prescott.
Well, that's
that's what I'm saying. Like, what's happening that they lose so much? There's no world in which Peyton Prescott should have an ERA over 5, and he had an ERA of 6 until the postseason started.
I do. I think it's the inability to locate a second pitch.
Well, figure it out.
Well, okay, that's a fair complaint. I'm just telling you.
None of them had an ERA under 4.6 out of the bullpen.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Picture this. It's midnight and you're lying in bed, scrolling through this new website you found, hitting the add to cart button on that item you've been looking for. After 15 minutes, you decide you've done enough damage to your wallet and decide to check out. But you remember that your wallet or credit card is in the living room and you don't want to get out of bed to go get it. Just as you're getting ready to abandon your cart, that's when you see it. That purple shop button. That shop button that has all of your payment and shipping information saved, saving you time while you stay warm in your bed. That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes everything easier, from checkout to creating your own storefront. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Mattel and Seminole Headlines to brands just getting started. Shopify gives you that leg up from day one with hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates to express your brand style and forget about all the code. Tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. Spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools to find and keep new customers. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/warchant. Go to shopify.com/warchant. Shopify.com/warchant.
Service, repairs, and installation. 222-7722.
Is your home ready for anything? At Parker Services AC and Electrical, we do more than just keep you cool. We keep your whole home running smoothly. From AC maintenance and duct cleanings to whole home generator installations, we've got everything you need for comfort and reliability. Join our Peak Performance membership to keep your HVAC system in top shape and catch issues before they turn into costly repairs. And with a reliable generator, you'll never be left in the dark again. Call Parker Services today, where comfort is just a call away. Model license number CMC 050334 and EC 1301240.
What makes Paul's Termite and Pest Control the best in North Florida?
It's our core values, of course, and they happen to spell Paul's.
P, protecting you and your pets from pests and your property from termites. A, accept personal responsibility. At Paul's, we realize it's up to us to get things right and strive to do more than is expected.
U, uphold company values. Those values include treating others with respect and understanding we represent Paul's Pest Control on and off the clock.
L, look the part. As representatives of this great company, we will always make sure that our image matches the character of Paul's.
S, support the team. Every job we do is a total team effort to create a supportive workplace.
P, protecting you, your pets, and your property. A, accept personal responsibility. U, uphold company values. L, look the part. S, support the team. Paul's core values. They make us the best.
For the elimination of termites and other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Using everybody's favorite metric, FPI, the ACC rankings, according to ESPN, came out this week. You saw that, right? Miami ahead of Clemson.
Okay.
Not buying it.
What's the rationale there?
The FPI sucks.
It's the FPI.
Oh, well, that's true.
The
FPI obviously stands for Football Percentage Index.
Yeah.
What a dumb name.
All right.
What a stupid name. That's like just a name that doesn't even mean
football
really percentage. Is that what it means? What does FPI stand for?
Power. I'm saying power.
Oh, that might make more sense.
Football Power Index.
Okay, percentage is what I would have called it.
So just so you know, Corey, it's a football power index that measures teams' true strength on net points. It's a net points scale, expected point margin versus average opponent on a neutral field.
That thing sucked before the transfer portal era.
Yeah.
Like it sucked before.
It's been around sucking for a long time.
Which one of them are good? Like what even the RPI, and as we saw in baseball.
I can't believe you just asked that question out loud. You know better than to double.
What?
You're going to double back than the FEMRAL?
Well, yeah, sure.
How long do we
that's my fault. Yeah, I love that guy. I love that dude.
Let's go.
Like, who's it for? Like,
all right.
Anyway.
Anyhow, the point of this was not for us to tee off on FPI, which everybody loads. I just thought this was interesting. Here are the teams ranked ahead of Florida State in terms of the odds to win the conference.
Okay.
All right, you right? Miami, Clemson.
Sure.
SMU.
All right.
Virginia Tech.
I mean, what?
Georgia Tech.
That's ridiculous.
Louisville.
Okay. I think Louisville, he does good. He does well in the portal. At least he did last year.
All right. So then comes Florida State. So if it played out that way.
Is it Georgia Tech because Haynes King is still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also they beat us last
year. And SMU
but
has the but they didn't beat this team last year.
No, I'm just saying.
And SMU has their quarterback back. Yes. It's all about the quarterbacks is what I'm gathering because Virginia Tech has their quarterback back as well.
Florida State ranks ahead of Boston College.
Suck it, BC.
North Carolina.
Sorry, Bill.
Duke, which
Jordan.
I'm kind of surprised by. NC State, Pitt, Cal, Syracuse, Virginia, Stanford, Wake.
Man, what a murderer's row that last half of the ACC is.
What, the Cal, Virginia, Stanford, Wake?
Yeah.
Grouping?
And Pitt's thrown in there too.
Yeah, throw that in there.
Hopefully Florida State will beat all those teams.
So
that would be nice.
I would note that if Florida State is the seventh best team in the ACC this year, that's probably not going to bode well for the headman.
I would also say that what in the world is FPI?
I'm just saying if it finishes this way.
But it won't. But I hear what you're saying. If they finish seventh, what in the world is going on? Put all the money into baseball. Get the best bullpen short of the Yankees.
Now, hey, just so you know, FPI picked Florida State to win the ACC a year ago.
So weird. Where did it come from?
Just so you know that, they thought that Florida State would be the team. Instead, we know they went 1-7 in conference play. 2-10 overall.
So it's not perfect.
It's not perfect, guys. The P doesn't stand for perfect.
And I don't know if FPI takes into account Gus Malzahn and Tony White. I don't know.
Clearly it doesn't.
I don't know if it does or doesn't, along with other coaches. I'm just saying. So last year they had.
I would love to know what the rationale was last year to have Florida State number 1.
Yeah,
because of Keon Coleman and Jordan Travis and Jared Burse, who were no longer on the team.
It was because of the undefeated campaign the year before.
Right. What did that have to do with the rain in China?
Factors in.
Could you imagine trying to come up with a computer formula for what's going on in college sports right now?
Yeah, it's preposterous. In June,
it's really difficult. No, it's really difficult, and yet
it's impossible. It's an impossible task.
It was dumb before. Computer models were pretty bad before, but now it's just, what do we even do?
There's no trends to even mark. None of these players are the same. Literally, Florida State's entire starting 22, except for Shaheem Brown, is different.
Well, what you do is I think you start with quarterback.
Yeah, I think clearly what they did, because they got all the teams with their returning quarterback.
Well, if you're Louisville, you're like, okay, you think to yourself, well, wait a minute, who? Oh, Miller Moss, that's right, he's there. You have to go back and remind yourself. That's what June and July is, right? Reminding yourself who ended up where.
And Carson Beck's not a returner, but he's Carson Beck.
He's Carson Beck, right?
So, what's his name? Luke Altmaier still playing? Is he at Indiana or where's he? He's somewhere.
I don't know.
He's still playing.
Yeah, he was. He
committed to Norvell. Like 2 months into Norvell getting here.
He committed to Norvell when Norvell was at Memphis. That's how long ago Altmaier was.
I mean,
yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It's wild that guy's still playing college football.
So, I was surprised that Duke was this far down on the FPI again.
Oh, he's at Illinois. I'm sorry, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn.
Darian Mensah is the Tulane quarterback that transferred.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's a good quarterback.
He's really good. And Duke plays some defense. They went 9-3.
I think they lost. I think they may have lost to a lot of older guys.
They're gonna. Yeah, I mean, I'm
sure they rebuilt.
They upgraded.
Or they reloaded. They reloaded.
They upgraded over Malik Murphy. I'll tell you that. But anyhow, so that's kind of curious. But I don't know. It is this season. I just looked at that and I thought, I don't really care where they rank Florida State. It doesn't mean anything to me. Obviously, they have flipped the roster, and we'll see what they are. But I did wonder how they. I got no problem just having Miami and Clemson up there at 1-2 in some particular order. That's fine because the roster itself we know is good.
I'm a little skeptical of Miami, but I got you.
Yeah,
I mean, just because I think Cam Ward, man, he was so special. It's hard to judge what they did on offense. Because
what would their record have been with Carson Beck last year instead of Cam Ward? Because they finished, what they finished 9-3, 9-3, 10-2.
They lost 3 in the regular season.
So what are they with Carson Beck? They don't beat Cal because they were down 35-3. That's what I'm saying. They don't beat Cal, and there was another game where Cam Ward miracled them a win. Or the game against somebody almost completed a Hail Mary, Virginia Tech, maybe.
Well, they had a miracle to beat Virginia Tech and Cal.
Yeah,
it's a
7-win team without Cam Ward, probably.
So they did, listen,
or maybe a 12-win team. Maybe Cam Ward kind of was the reason they lost 3 games.
Cam was great last year. Their defense was an atrocity.
It was ridiculous.
They went out and got a safety in a corner.
Yeah, they've improved their secondary for sure, no question.
But when your offense takes a step back, like we assume it will. You never know.
If that's a healthy Carson, we'll see. I agree with you, but I mean, if he's healthy, that's a problem because he had time to look like an NFL quarterback. So we'll see. I don't know if he's going to be healthy or not. I know their head coach likes to lose at least 1 game a year on his own.
Yeah.
Which is always something you can bank on. Let's hope it's to Florida State this year.
Nice.
Just go ahead, Mario. This is what you like to do. Go ahead and lose 1. You're gone.
Lee Corso will be in attendance. Let Lee go out on top.
He's already planted the spear. It's going to be a beautiful night, right? So at least 1 mismanaged ending to a game. Misused timeouts, everything else will cost them something. It's just a matter of whether it'll be more than 1. I still can't believe they lost to Syracuse up big. I think they did last year.
So they lost to Syracuse, Georgia Tech. What was the other game? Was that I can't. I don't know why I can't remember their other game that they lost, but I know they did.
Yeah, they lost to Syracuse, Georgia Tech, and
not Florida State, not Florida. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Sorry, that's my bad. It's bad podcasting / radio show.
Host Florida is what they did in Gainesville.
They had a tougher time with Florida State. It was still a game in the fourth quarter. I don't know if you remember after Kromenhoek broke off that 4th and 1 QB sneak.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV continues in a moment.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Chance for storms this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 90. Southwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows level off around 74. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 91. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 87.
Looking to upgrade your backyard, your business, or even your life? Then you've got to check out Southeast Portable Buildings right here in Tallahassee.
That's right. Southeast Portable Buildings has everything: sheds, cabins, carports, and now beautiful decks to go with them.
Imagine a brand new storage building and a deck out front. Perfect for that morning coffee or for your family gatherings.
Need something custom? No problem. They'll work with you to find exactly what fits your needs. Big or small, simple or stylish.
And with easy financing options, you can make your dream space happen sooner than you think.
Southeast Portable Buildings, where you're not just getting a building, you're getting a lifestyle upgrade. Give our friends a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400.
Southeast Portable Buildings.
Big buildings.
Big decks.
Big dreams.
Southeast Portable Buildings on West Tennessee Street, just north of Capitol Circle in Tallahassee.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some wear grass-stained sneakers, carry a lunchbox to work, and show up day after day with quiet strength. This Father's Day, Real Talk 93.3 and the law offices of Basic Brooks are looking for the real dads, and one of them will win the ultimate dad prize. Free tickets to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a free round of golf for 4, and a well-earned steak dinner, thanks to Basic Brooks. If you know a dad who's given everything for his family, a father, a husband, friend, nominate them. Tell us what makes them great. His story could win him the ultimate dad prize he truly deserves. Submit your entry now at realtalk93.com, and we'll announce the winner live on the air Friday, June 13th. Let us know who you think should be crowned as the 2025 Real Dad.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Just so you know, the FBI has Texas as the number 1 team in the country. Outside of the ACC. Somebody asked.
Okay. I probably would have put them there. The CPI has the exact same.
Oh, do they?
Ranking.
Okay. You double checked it?
Yeah. And Ohio State's in my top 3 too.
They're number 3. They're number 3 with
the
FBI
my formula.
Yeah,
I have them in the top 3 as well.
The CPI?
Yeah.
How do you think you would do if you just took the FBI ratings for every game and went to Vegas and just played them all, just based on the FBI ratings? You think you'd be?
You'd be a gazillionaire. Yeah, you'd build your own casino out there.
Yeah. By the way, that's Penn State, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, 5-1. There you go. Those are
so Alabama's 4 in the FBI.
Alabama's number 4.
Okay. All right.
It's be a crazy upset.
Huge upset. Huge upset August 30th.
That's even, in fairness to the FBI guys, that's even true based on Vegas's odds.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's what it would be based on FPI. If FPI's got FSU 7th in the ACC, and Alabama 4th in the country,
it should be a 30-point
more
spread.
Than 11 points.
Yeah, it should be a 30-point spread.
Is it 11? It was 12.5 earlier.
I thought 11.5 is what I remember.
2 touchdowns. All I know is if the Noles lose 30-17, I'll win my money. No, right? Because I got the Noles. No, 30-20. If they lose 30-20, I win my money.
So you just need to keep it within under 2 touchdowns.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah, and James B. was correct. We did the research during the break. They lost. The Canes did lose only twice during the regular season, but then they lost in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
That's what it was, right.
Cam Ward played the first half,
that was the best.
which was crazy.
Which made none of it made
none
any
of it
sense.
made
Got the
sense.
record.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're sitting there watching. You gotta think about it. He would have led them down the field for the game-winning touchdown, even if he sat out most of the second half. Just go in there for that final drive, and what that would. He might have been drafted higher.
It's almost like it's almost like people
he killed his draft
Well,
stock.
that's a good point though, because people will say, "Oh, well, he quit on his team. That's going to affect him."
They do not
in the NFL.
care.
The NFL did not care at all.
There were 3 awesome running backs in 2016 coming out: Fournette, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is the one that played in the bowl game and was awesome in it because he was awesome. He got drafted 30 spots behind the other 2. They do not care about what you do to your team or for your team, what kind of team player you are.
No, especially not at not at running back. I think that's true.
Well, quarterback, they didn't care about that.
Also, the era is different, man. What's happened now, these bowl games now, what used to be considered to be absolutely insane to do that now.
Well, you remember Jabril Peppers didn't play in that game either, and people were stunned. They're still talking about Tessitore, whoever called that game is still talking about it.
Shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tweaked his ankle before the game.
Yeah. He went through warm-ups. He went through warm-ups, and then all of a sudden just tweaked something.
I remember the Michigan tight end who did play in a bowl game.
Ooh, that was bad.
It was that game, right?
Yeah. Ruined his career.
Well,
that's a toughie. Now you can't say it. So Florida State will finish well above that?
7th? I don't know. I don't know. How can anybody say with authority?
Just because you pushed back, I wanted to see if you thought.
Oh, no, I push back on the idea that anybody has an idea. Like, you just don't really know.
Well, we're entering the era of nobody has an idea.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You have an idea with about a handful of teams that have sustained recruiting.
Or if they have a returning quarterback that's really good.
And I'm not even sure that any coaches know. I mean, certainly Florida State's coaches did not expect what happened last year. But I don't know how confident you can be in a lot of things on this team right now. Like, again, Gus Malzahn had an offense that, he wants to put in, and they did it to a degree this spring, but they had a lot of guys out, especially on the offensive line. So you're not really getting to see a full picture. And then at running back now, two of you, maybe your top 2 running backs or 2 of your top 3 or 4 running backs for sure, will have never even taken a snap in a real practice yet. Cromaw's just got here as a freshman.
Yeah. And then the kid from Oklahoma, right?
And Sawchuk transferred in after spring. So there are so many things that you don't know. And I do think that, they feel good about some things they saw. I think they feel good about the way Tommy ran the offense. I thought we saw that at the scrimmage we were at. He seemed like he had a good command of the offense, and it is tailored to him. This is the first time in his career he's had that in college where he's got an offense tailored to him. I think they were super excited about Deuce Robinson. They're super excited about certain players on defense and things they saw. But in terms of how it all comes together, man, I don't know that the coaches can really know, let alone FPI or any of us.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that this is why I'm anxious in a good way, though. I mean, obviously they can't be anywhere close to as bad as they were a year ago. So you're already starting from a better place. Like, you can't be anywhere close to that bad.
And if
they may not be great, but they can't be close to that bad.
Give up the sport. If you go 2-10 again.
Well, listen, if they go anything below, again, we've talked about this, but if you go anything below, I don't know what their threshold is. I know what the fan base generally thinks. I mean, if somehow you're out here going 6-6 this year, they're going to want them fired, and understandably. But yeah, I have no idea. I mean, they may not beat Alabama. They're not favored to beat Alabama, but just don't get blown out, and we'll see what happens. I mean, that's
the thing when you go back to, because listen, I was joking, but that list you read at the bottom half of the ACC, well, those are teams that are on their schedule.
Yeah.
So you don't have to beat. It's not like Florida State fans are asking the world going into this season where you have to do some amazing thing. I think people are conceding you're probably not going to win 3 probably of those top 4 games you've got, maybe all 4 of those top 4 games you've got, but you do have to beat these other teams.
So those other teams that are below Florida State, just to make the point to emphasize the point you're making, Boston College, Carolina, Duke, NC State, Pitt, Cal, Syracuse, Virginia, and Stanford. So they got Stanford, they've got Virginia, they have Pitt,
NC State.
They've got NC State. Yeah, a lot of these teams that are quote unquote, for what it's worth, below them in this. Right. They got to win those games. Sure, absolutely. They do.
You got the 2 gimmies. So again, that's right there. That gets you to 5 or 6 wins. Just being competent.
Just being competent. Like, you don't have to be any good at all to win those games. That's what was so stunning about last year. Once it was obvious that they weren't good, you thought, okay, well, this is going to be a terrible season, but nobody thought you could go 2-10. Obviously, things broke down.
I think that's a byproduct of the era we're in. I think of if a team comes in with a high expectation and in an era where everybody's a mercenary, it's not like just these few guys are mercenaries, but everybody pretty much in these programs now are mercenaries because they all are literally constantly thinking about, and not necessarily because they're bad people, but all the people around them are trying to shop them to other schools and other agents and everything else. So you have a season, you come in with high expectations and it goes in the tank early on. I think you're going to see more teams just kind of crater.
Do we think we achieved
not
anything?
to that extent.
Well, you'd hope not, but
and they also lost their starting quarterback.
Right.
That is a big deal. Like, not that DJU was going to win the Heisman.
They had a bunch of injuries.
Yeah, but you're going to beat
Jalen Lucas, Rodell Williams, a bunch of offensive. I mean, they lost a lot of players.
But especially when you lose your quarterback and he's replaced by what he was replaced with, which clearly wasn't ready to win anything or score touchdowns. You're going to beat Duke with DJ at the very least. It's the 3-9 season.
Do you think we achieved anything this week with finally getting the House settlement to offset some of the radical shifts?
Yeah, Ira, tell us now. Let's break it down.
I do want to say, I'd like to clear up some misconceptions about how it works. So the $20.5 million is not new money that's coming to FSU to use to pay players.
No, that's part of a settlement.
Yeah, the NCAA settlement part, that's paid. That's the NCAA is paying the former players.
Right.
They go back the last
2016.
Those players they're going to get checks. We'll see how much they get, but they're going to get money. But the money, the $20.5 million, that's just the money those schools already had. Now they've got to get $20.5 million to the players.
Yes,
and if they want to do it, if you want to participate, if you want to be in revenue sharing, which Florida State obviously does. So now, and this is Michael Alford. I wrote a story about this. I don't know, probably 7-8 months ago. Florida State has to come up with another $20.5 million to give this money to the student athletes, but then also, I can stop saying student athletes probably.
Yeah.
To give
they're students.
To give it to the athletes. And
in some
then
cases.
The new scholarship limits, which have gone up in pretty much every sport. You know, football had 85 scholarships. Now it's going to be 105. Baseball was 11.7
or something. Yeah.
Now
way up.
34.
It could be over 30.
Yeah.
And now, schools can decide if they want to have 34, they just want to have 25 or whatever it is. But all that money, what Michael Alford said is that's another $2 to $2.5 million on top of what they already paid for scholarships. So now you're talking about coming up with $23-24 million over what you had to budget in the past. So where's that money come from? It's either cuts from your athletics department, whether that's staff. I think there have been some belt tightening already, not filling positions. Some schools are going to look at cutting sports. We'll see. Florida State's been acted like they've said they're committed to all the sports. We'll see how it plays out over time. Some schools are going to cut sports, and then you have the issue in terms of you still have that and the NIL factor that's out there that we don't know how other schools are going to handle it. So the only thing that's known is now the players are going to get $20.5 million, but how schools are going to pay for it, what they're going to do to handle it, and then what's going to happen with the other NIL.
How they're going to fill that hole of the 25, the 20.5. They're used to coming straight to them.
Right.
Now it's not there anymore because it's going to these athletes.
You can make it the ways you can make it up. And Florida State's been working on some of these things. One is you can increase your fundraising efforts. You can try to make it up that way. You can cut expenses, which they've already started doing. They've already been cutting some expenses. The other thing is, you can find new revenue streams, but that's difficult. I mean, if there were a lot of revenue streams already out there, they would have already gotten them.
And the reason that fans don't say cry me a river for these athletic departments is because of the way they do it in the past. They had to find ways as to not make a profit. So they built chocolate fountains and video game machines and massive luxury. And
they have associate athletic director upon associate athletic director upon associate athletic director.
$10 million
yes,
contracts.
Correct. Really weird.
Come on. There's a way to come up with the 20.
But that market has become a market. I mean, so it's not, you can't just suddenly say to your assistant AD who was making $200,000,
right?
Well, you know what? Now we're only paying you $100,000,
right? But when you do think over time, perhaps we see a market correction.
Correction, maybe.
We don't see people making gobs of money that ought not. And I would start with the coaches. Let's not give somebody $12 million a year contract.
And these football analysts, you've got analysts upon analysts upon analysts. I don't begrudge them, and I'm sure they do things that are important.
Clearly last year they did.
But a lot of the analysts, this is across college sports. The analysts used to make like 50, 60 grand. A lot of times they were former high school coaches. Now
some of them made barely a working wage, like legitimately barely a working wage.
Now most, a lot
living wage.
Big percentage of the analysts now are six figures. A decent number. There's a lot of analysts that now make six figures. So again, this is all just on top of rising coaching salaries and all that. So yeah, man, it's going to be a burden financially. But again, even if you solve all that, you still have to figure out what's going to happen with these other schools, and are other schools going to play by the rules?
Well, all of the Power 4 commissioners seem to suggest that they really want stringent enforcement of the NIL rules.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they do, man.
I do too. 100% I do. It's a matter of who's going to turn in the schools that aren't doing it.
Well,
it's got to come to that.
going to be a matter of how you manipulate the system, because I think you absolutely can. Like Ira and I were talking about last night on the Smash. I mean, you wouldn't take any of your $20.5 million if you were Duke last year and give it to Cooper Flagg. He got $28 million. $28 million what Cooper Flagg made last year.
Who? What?
He had shoe contracts.
Oh, okay.
Legit money.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay him out of your 20 point. He's got $28 million. I don't know. I mean, so you're going to juggle this? I think you would. I think, well, listen, you come here, let's say you're Arch Manning. He's making millions.
Yeah,
that's not all coming from Texas.
But you're talking about a couple outliers. There's not a lot of Cooper Flaggs and not a lot of Arch Mannings. So
without question.
Jameer Watkins.
But no, and I think those guys will make whatever they're all in for a rude awakening.
Well, I agree. I think that's where you wonder is like what impact does it have on the Primo Spears and the Jameer Watkins of the world? Cooper Flagg's his own entity. He's his own planet. But these other there's a million. I shouldn't say this. There's a lot of Jameer Watkinses out there, really good college basketball players that might not have an NBA future. How do you pay them? How do you get them on your campus? Same thing with baseball. How do you keep a Jamie Arnold?
Well, and that other part of it is going to be interesting. And this is, again, we have to see how it all plays out. But every school kind of has their own say on how they're going to – there's some formulas out there. People are saying, oh, football's going to get 75%. Right. Men's basketball or whatever's going to get 15%. Some schools are going to give more to different sports.
Well, Kentucky's given $20 million to their basketball team.
Well, yeah, we'll see if they keep doing that.
I think they might.
Well,
I think they care a lot more.
Football's not going to get any money?
No, but I think they care a hell of a lot more about basketball than they do football.
No,
way more.
But that's going to be it's going to be interesting to see.
And schools like St. John's that don't have football.
You say that, but then I think Stoops is making like $7 million a year. So they care enough to pay their head coach $7 million. That is a completely waste of money if you're not going to put any money into his program. So they have to make some adjustments to make, I mean, because football still is a really big deal, even in not as much in Kentucky, but in that conference, obviously. And it's a waste of money if you're paying your head coach $7 million and you don't get anything to win with.
I mean, I think Kentucky's happy when he makes a bowl.
Yeah. But he's not going to make a bowl if you don't give him any money. He's going to be Vanderbilt.
I'm not telling you they're going to spend every last penny. To Ira's point, different schools are going to prioritize. I think Duke cares an awful lot about basketball, apparently. I mean, North Carolina is doing $14 million for their basketball program.
Yeah, but these numbers you're saying, they're all pre-settlement. They're all pre-settlement.
So, do you think
the settlement era?
Yeah, the settlement era is going to make it.
But that's the question I asked to start the segment. Yeah. Do you think suddenly North Carolina, starting after July of this year, where the money kicks in, like, are they going to suddenly pull back the
I think the market corrects.
If the market shifts, then
the market corrects. So the power forward from New Jersey can't say I want $1.2 million. They're like, look, you can't get it. It's not 2025 anymore. Nobody has that money.
I have a suspicion he's going to get it.
Maybe, but maybe. But again, that would be against the rules. If you're paying, if you only have $20 million to pay, and you're giving one player on the basketball team 5% of your total revenue.
What's interesting is the enforcement that you're talking about.
That's the key to the whole thing.
What I'm saying is there's so many ways to manipulate this. One person gave the example of, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $1 per appearance. I want you to make 1 million appearances. It goes through the clearinghouse. They're like, okay, well, that's $1 per appearance. That fits the formula. That works. And then all of a sudden that place calls them back and said, oh, we only need you 10 times. You get $1 every time you show up, but really now we've decided we don't need you 1 million times, but you still keep your $1 million.
Well,
it's the formula. You manipulate it.
Yeah, and even the limits will be challenged in court.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it's.
But nobody knows, man. Like I talked about this on Wake Up. Like nobody knows what this is going to look like in practice. Nobody knows. People have opinions on what it might look like. None of us had any idea that NIL in 2021 would end up with a pitcher from Stanford, softball pitcher, making $1.2 million. We have no idea what this is going to look like in 27 and 28. We're all just along for the ride to see what.
And maybe we took a step closer.
And maybe it's a better sport.
Well, we hope.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping for.
Take that step. Let's answer some questions. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with it.
All right, about that time to upgrade my iPad and my Apple Gear. How much memory do I need? What upgrade should I get? What size screen? How many chargers do I need? USB-C, USB-D, mini USB, USB-B, ABC, 1, 2, 3?
If only there was a local business that can guide you and help you understand what you need and get you the best pricing possible. Oh, wait, that's what they do at Mac & More Systems. Get help buying the right gear for the right price and have it shipped directly to their store for pickup, all at no extra cost. That's the kind of service you won't get at any big box store. Shop local at Mac & More Systems. Find out more online at macandmoresystems.com.
Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, got to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
This week's Legacy Moment, brought to you by Cornerstone Memorials, honors Sarah and Henry Reed, who over 3 decades opened their home to more than 40 foster children. The Reeds weren't wealthy, but they gave every child love, safety, and a place to belong. Holidays at their house meant mismatched chairs and full hearts. When they passed, Sarah in 2017, Henry just last year, dozens of grown children came home one more time. The Reeds left behind a family they built with kindness. This has been a legacy moment, honoring the lives that shaped Tallahassee. Sponsored by Cornerstone Memorials, helping families honor their loved ones with dignity and care. Find out more online at cornerstonememorials.org. Do you know of a Tallahassee legacy that should be shared? Text the word legacy to 850-386-8255 to submit your story for the Cornerstone Memorials Legacy Moment.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last.
WVSP. Grant, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. You're listening to Seminole Headlines with Ira, Corey, and Jeff. Stay tuned for more headlines coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
Marlins baseball yesterday, they lose to the Pirates by a 10-3 score. That series will continue tonight. The Marlins are 24-40. The Pirates are 27-40. So it's a matchup of two teams that are not very good. The Marlins are expected to throw Sandy Alcantara tonight. The Pirates will go with Mitch Keller. Pirates are minus 136 favorites. The Marlins at plus 116, over-under at 8 runs. The Rays were off yesterday. Tonight they're going to open up a series in Boston against the Orioles. Ryan Pepio will go for the Rays. The Red Sox have Lucas Giolito on the mound. Rays are minus 116 favorites, tied odds. The Red Sox at minus 102.
$250 bonus, and you open up a GBank Visa signature card. Visa.com/GBank.
I'm Matt Pauley. This has been your action update on Tallahassee's Real Talk station, Real Talk 93.3.
If there's one thing we know about dads, it's that they're not easy to shop for. Enter Kohl's. They've got everything from Nike golf gear to his favorite Levi's jeans. And you can save 20% on other finds like Flex Athleisure and Izod workwear. So if you're not sure what to get dad for Father's Day, you know where to go. Shop Kohl's now. Select styles. Offer ends June 15th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons do not apply to Nike and Levi's. See store at Kohl's.com for details.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it. Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh. And we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it. I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce. Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
Do you own a small business? Let me guess. You started your business so you could get bogged down with payroll and bookkeeping, office tasks, and other paperwork, right? Probably not. I'm Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions. Allow me to help you get out from behind your desk and get back to doing what you love. For any of your payroll, bookkeeping, or other business services, give me a call today and allow me to take it off your plate. You can find my contact information online at collinsincometexsolutionsllc.com.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines and headliner questions forthcoming. Thanks for joining us as always. Ira, Corey are here, and we got to thank our friends at Birch Orthodontics as we start the hour, as we're wont to do. Thank you to Heather Birch and her great staff at Birch Orthodontics.
This is a great time of year to go get your Birch consultation.
Amen.
Because your kid can go to school with the new braces.
There you go.
And I know, like, when we were kids, braces weren't necessarily the fashion statement. People weren't fired up to get braces, but
you can get pink, yellow, red, blue, green,
different
now.
colors. Yeah, I feel like
crazy.
they probably match their clothing based on what their
yeah.
their braces. But no, it's they do tremendous work in all the latest technology, Invisalign, normal braces. Consultations are free. Tremendous staff. It's
retainers. Don't forget the retainers.
Yeah, retainers are quality. And listen, the thing about Dr. Birch is you don't have to be the bad guy as the parent. A lot of times as the parents, a lot of times I like Kim be the bad guy. I be the good cop.
The softy,
a lot of times in our house,
yeah.
that's, I come behind it, I smooth it all over.
Yeah.
But
you probably shut the door and go, look, now you know what I put up.
Yeah.
But
as soon as you guys are out of the house, I'm out of the house too.
It's gone well for us. No, but if you with Dr. Birch, she'll be the tough guy too.
Yeah,
she'll be the bad cop. If the kid is not getting the bands, the bands, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, Dr. Birch will stay on, and her staff will do a really good job of helping your kid through that. And it's again, it's nobody loves getting braces, but after the impact is awesome. Again, every time I picture it, one of my daughters sent us a new selfie today in the group chat, and I just couldn't help but admire.
Did you call Dr. Birch and say thank you?
Have.
Yeah, send that on to her.
Yeah. And maybe I will.
Dr. Birch can be incredibly stern.
She's not
She's
messing
tough.
around.
I mean, yeah, and I love
that's
that.
What
fact.
you want out of your orthodontist.
That's right.
You don't want to
tell these kids what time it is.
Yeah.
It's an investment. We got to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Benefit everything that you can with that. Hey, by the way, I missed a couple of contributions and questions that came in last hour in the chat.
Why don't you get it together?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to do the show, buddy.
Yeah.
Trying to drive the show here.
You got it. If I had a computer, I don't even have a computer in front of me. I would have seen it.
I don't look at the chat while I'm doing the show at all times because it can serve to distract.
I blame you too.
I do check the chat.
So James B, we love James B.
James B.
Stepped in, and he had a question for you, Ira, and I'm sure you're going to know what it was in reference to. So, Ira, does that remaining money, is it donated by the battle's end? He means so we were talking about the whole process of who pays what.
So it's a little gray right now in terms of what's going to happen with the collectives because and again, this is all uncharted territory.
That's the motto of college athletics the last decade.
We're all in the gray.
We're
living in the
gray right now.
So there was a study released by Deloitte, I think, recently where they said that they looked over a bunch of different contracts from NIL deals.
And they're not buying them.
90% of the deals that were signed by like Coca-Cola had a deal, or these Cooper Flag deals for like a shoe company or whatever it is.
DJ with his Beats.
Yeah,
90%
of those would have been fine. Of the collective contracts, which is the Battle's End or groups like that, I think they said 70% of them, I think is the number they said, probably would not qualify in this new era. Now, the question is, do the collectives change their approach a little bit? And again, they're still taking donations. They still are trying to help. They still want to be part of the process. There are ways for them to do it as part of this process, but they're probably going to have to rein some things in terms of how these deals are structured so that they meet the criteria. So the Battle's End is not just all these collectives are not just going to close shop and just hand that money over to the schools. It's going to be more part of the process. They're going to have to change how they go about it. I'm sure we'll get Ingram on at some point to educate people, but I think a lot of this is fluid. People don't really know how it's all going to play out.
They do make Spanx for men, right? Right?
I'm sure
they must.
I've never searched.
I haven't either, but I have to assume they do.
I might now, because I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do. Well, I mean, there's your revenue stream, man.
Yeah, because she's just been throwing so much money.
It's what I'm saying, but
State.
now it could legitimately help her because you're getting real spokesmen. Like, think about Squirrel White
I think
wearing
she's doing
Spanx.
Fine.
You think she's doing all right?
She's doing all
I
right.
guess.
So, by the way, that Deloitte situation, and we'll get to Andrew's question here in a second. But, okay, so Brian Seeley comes over from Major League Baseball, and he will be the arbiter of these deals. And he has 45 days to look at a deal that's presented before him. Does this meet the criteria? That's based on what? A math equation, an algorithm, something that's a fair market value for Tallahassee is different than New York City, right? So they're going to look at that, right? And he's got to respond, pretty quickly. 45 days, not a lot of time. That's going to be fascinating. You know how many things are going to be on his plate?
Well, I'm sure he'll have a staff.
He's going to have a really good one that everybody's trusting. And apparently he has a lot of power.
Yeah, and he's going to oversee it. But, yeah, they'll be using Deloitte, and it's another company that's going to be doing – there's a software company that's going to be crunching all the numbers. But the bottom line is, anytime a player signs an NIL deal, it's going to have to go through this
for more than
clearinghouse
$600.
For more than $600, which I'm going to guess is a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go through this program, and then there will be a staff to administer it. My point to all this, and we touched on at the end of the last hour, it is fraught with problems. This whole thing is going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Nobody really knows.
We know that.
But the fact that what I do feel better about is I do think the vast majority of schools want some sort of control.
They care. They want this under control.
Because they know they can't. Once the Texas schools and a few of the other schools just started throwing crazy money at it, and it's not just about like, hey, what can you do here or there? Everybody realizes they can't compete on that level. So you have the vast majority of schools. It's not like 25 or 30 or 40 or 50 schools are pushing for no limits. I would say there's probably 98% of the schools want limits now. So now there's at least a will to have that happen. So we'll see if they can
Texas Tech's trying to get in under the wire, baby.
Absolutely.
They are getting in under the wire. Throw everything we got of our oil money at this thing. Can you imagine if Texas Tech, if it pays off, if they go all in like this, whatever that alleged $55 million payroll is? All right. If they were to win something before Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, A&M's been doing it by the book for so long.
It's so great. Like the idea of it, how pissed those lunatics cult followers would be. I mean, at Texas Tech, sorry ass Texas Tech.
I wonder if I was talking about Florida State, and like you've got to do something to get yourself out of the postseason baseball curse. Like, run the bases correctly or get a bullpen. You think A&M ever thinks, what if we try female cheerleaders? Maybe that's just the luck, the break we need to win something.
Do they think we should move the university out of the sticks?
Yeah, or out of the cotton, the tumbleweed, and
do something here?
Just the dirt roads and College Station.
Andrew says, has the angst of 2-10 trickled down to the other sports? I get it. We all wanted Omaha, but the reaction in the forum seemed a bit much for a team we knew months ago had holes in the bullpen. You're going to have to answer this, Ira and Corey. I don't know. I have not looked at the forums to see if the angst was riding high. I thought that they were a good team. I didn't think they were going to win the College World Series.
I think if they'd have lost both games 14-10, it wouldn't have been as angsty as 4-1 with 2 outs and 1 on in the ninth. That's where the angst comes from. It's like, of course this happens to Florida State. Of course it happened to Florida State.
And it's also just, man, it's just the It's the reality of Florida State baseball. Until they win a national title, this is what it's going to be at the end of every year. Because I've seen people on Facebook who I think are normal people that I've always thought were
just
normal
say
people
crazy things.
say things like, "Oh, FSU baseball, here it is again.
Yep.
Links just like Mike Martin. It's never going to change." Somebody said, I saw somebody, it's never going to change until they change coaching staffs. And it's like, what are you talking about? They took Link Jarrett is considered
one coach of the year.
Yeah. It's not like, and he didn't coach for Mike Martin for 20 something years.
Yes.
And I think he coaches very differently. So it's just all bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's very common with Florida State baseball. I think that sport, particularly then when you add it on top of a 2-10 football season, like this was pretty much a perfect storm. You always got with Corey and I used to run the live chats when we were at the Democrat during games. And you would see everybody would joke about it. The people that were in the live chats on a normal game, most of the year might have 100 people in there, maybe 80, maybe 120, maybe 150. But when they started losing, you'd see hundreds of people. If they start losing in the postseason,
my TCU game out in Omaha, a lot of folks that decided they wanted to chime in.
And
says a lot about humanity.
But they all want to just rip FSU baseball.
Yeah.
And it's in Mike Martin. And you've got that on top of 2-10 in football, basketball not being good. So that's all kind of
it may have to answer his question. It may have trickled down, affected the fan base emotionally.
But you're going to get some of that no matter what. And then the manner that it happened. I mean, being up 4-1.
That was a toughie. Tom writes, was I the only one who noticed the true athlete in that series? My man sitting in the first row behind home plate was the apex of the weekend in his game, crushing silver bullet after silver bullet. So why did they make him switch to water?
They did in that second game.
But then they were back on the third game.
I think beer the game 3.
I think maybe they did it as like a luck. Like, let's change our luck because the beer cans aren't working. Let's go to something else. And it's obviously everybody in the section when they're done with the beer, I think brings it down to that guy.
Yeah.
But they had a great one working on Sunday.
It was impressive.
Yeah, on Sunday it took up the whole front row.
He said also, I saw him walk down with 4 beers for himself and a water for his old lady in the second inning. He was back up to the concession stand by the 3rd inning. It was at that point I knew we were in trouble.
Yeah. Well, there's no way. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and assume there's no way that dude drank 30 beers through the course of a baseball game, or 50 or whatever it was. I will say this, though, as I was watching that game and other games this weekend across the country, I hate Hauser's setup behind home plate. Hate it. It's ridiculous.
The fact that you just see that
you just see the stupid one suite. No offense to the people that are in that suite, and everything else is just garnet padding. Right. And you look around the country, you see fans in that spot. Like, how's about that as a revenue stream, Mike offered? Sell those seats for a good price, and you get more than 8 people that close to the game. You get 50 people sitting right there on TV all the time, like in softball or every other baseball stadium I've looked at this weekend, including Duke.
Yeah, the problem is that area is there's other stuff behind those paddings. I mean, it's like
get rid of it, Ira. It's what I'm saying. They're never going to blow up the stadium and build it somewhere else.
You're serving to my argument. I've been having for some time.
But that's such a dumb look. When you really look at the rest of the country, that is a dumb look for a baseball game.
I don't disagree.
Okay, I want people behind home plate. I want to see the guy in the hat with the radar gun.
Marlon writes, "Good day, gents. It's officially list season. We may not want to do it now, but if Mike doesn't win 8 games, that list will come out. So whom would we be?
Who's on the Florida State short list?
Yeah.
Good grief.
There's a lot of them.
I mean, Lane Kiffin would have been at the top of the list if Mike had gone to Alabama.
Yeah.
So he's still out there. So you would think that would be one.
Do you think? I mean, I hate to just think of it this way, but I mean, if I was Lane Kiffin, why would I leave Ole Miss to come to the ACC?
Now, theoretically,
I mean, that's one way to look at it. The other way is like, what are you ever going to win at Ole Miss?
I'm just saying, man, I'm making way more money there at Ole Miss than I would
be making way more money than Mike Norvell.
No, I'm not talking about the annual salary for him. I'm talking about the ability to pay the television.
It's all changing, baby. It's all changing.
We'll see.
But I mean, look, man, yeah, you can do it. Jimbo made way more money in College Station. He doesn't coach anymore.
No,
don't leave. The Florida State and Ole Miss aren't the.
I think Florida State is vastly superior in the history of the game. That is obvious. I'm saying there aren't too many SEC coaches that are going to leave that television deal to come to the ACC.
Well, he would be dumb because he's never going to win a national championship at Ole Miss. So, and Florida State has a history of winning that. And they just went undefeated 2 years ago. So that has never happened in Oxford. It will never happen in Oxford. freeze this take.
Okay.
Edit this out. Tom Lang, cut this out. Ole Miss, not cut it out, like clip it, frame it, freeze it, save it. The Ole Miss will never go undefeated, and they will never win a national championship in our lifetime.
The odds are in your favor.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Doesn't mean they won't be better than Florida State.
I guess one way to look at it. Are we in Oxford, Mississippi, or Tallahassee, Florida? Are we trying to drum up interest for the team we cover? Let's make it flipping Rebels headlines.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Michael writes, hi, boys. This time last year, the conversation was all about Ireland. Jeff drinking in the pub, Ira introducing registers to Ireland people, Corey sacrificing his mental sanity to board a plane to see the game.
In my brain cells.
Now that we have finally hit summer and FSU sports have somewhat mercifully come to a close, what FSU sports adventure are you looking forward to next season? Well, the only adventure that would be available next season, at least in football, would be if you traveled out to California for that Stanford 10:30 kick. That's
gonna be fun.
It won't be 10:30 out there, but yeah, I don't know. That'd be one. Is there anything else? I mean, adventure. There's anything close to as adventurous as going to Ireland for a game. Anything in
the Final Four? If Luke gets his team playing right, what do you think, Ira?
Yeah, I'm not predicting.
You're not betting on it?
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe soccer. They're gonna be really, really good again. Maybe they make it back to the college.
But that's
cup.
not an adventure.
No, there aren't many adventures. There aren't many adventures.
There's not a no. Listen, in a weird way, the home opener is the adventure. It's Alabama walking into a renovated stadium
with a porch,
altered stadium.
Yeah.
You want to see if this goes well, what the atmosphere is like, what's the noise level, how does it compare to yesteryear when you had electric matchups at Doak Campbell Stadium?
Does Corso's plane get him here on time?
You're playing Alabama. How well do you respond to 2-10? Are you competitive? Could you pull the upset and get the win? I mean, like, there will be a lot of nerves in that first game, and good ones. I mean, I'm excited talking about it. Seriously, every time it comes up, I get excited to see what this is going to look like, how they're going to play, and what the result's going to be. Plus, my dad, I'll be sitting with my dad for that game. I mean, he went all in on the tickets and paid the upgrade and all this other stuff.
You're going to be sitting with your dad?
No. Unfortunately, my dad passed away 14 years ago almost.
If you were sitting with your dad, we'll be at morning for the first game talking about
this for you. For you, C-Dog.
We won't be enjoying that experience with you.
But
But
my dad will welcome you to the seats for a quarter if you want. I'll come up there and you guys take it. Let's go. He's got 4 seats.
We'll see. Well, maybe we'll take him up on that.
I'll tell you this. I was talking about this with friends because they got tickets in the Champions Club this year, Stephanie being one of them. I don't know that I have to be in the press box for East Tennessee. I keep wanting to say cross country community college.
Get after it. Go.
I would like.
You're going to be one of the people in the thing that you've complained about.
The premise would be writing about the atmosphere in there. I'm not drinking during a game. I really wouldn't. But I'd like to see what it's like to be in one of those things. For a horrible game like that?
You've had some beers at football games before, Corey.
Yeah. I haven't. Not as I work.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about while you're in the press box working. I'm not besmirching your work.
No, maybe I'd go to the Champions Club. I'd have a beer or two.
Him trying to find an angle for why he doesn't have to work for a football game.
No, I would work. I'd be down there for the interviews, but I mean, what am I going to have the binoculars out watching them beat that team 50-8?
Oh, man. Dan writes, hey, guys, I'm from Boston. I know a good baseball curse when I see one. College football and basketball programs are hiring GMs. What do you say FSU starts the trend for baseball by hiring Theo Epstein?
That's a great idea. What is he doing anymore? He works for MLB, right?
Sounds right.
I think he works for MLB, but he's got a lot of downtime, man.
Yeah.
What is he?
Dan, that's quality right
He's
there.
suspending guys for PEDs. He's got time to kill. Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, it would be really cool to be Theo Epstein, to have gone 2 for 2 on curse breaking and then walk away in your early 40s and be worth millions upon millions and a hero to 2 of the most desperate fan bases in the history of sport.
Yeah, and he's
not sure he's still a total hero with one of them.
Well,
with who? The Cubs?
They're going to get mad at him. He won a World Series in Chicago. I'd be walking around Wrigleyville with double middle fingers.
He's really good friends with Eddie Vedder, too.
He's got a good
so
life.
that's not a bad play. Bring him down here to Tallahassee for 2 years and just figure this thing out. Please.
Let's have a Tavello during the break. We can't do that?
Good
Not
idea.
on the air?
Yeah, we can give it a shot.
Which one were you drinking last night?
Oh, the coffee blonde. They call it the morning ride. It's the coffee blonde. It's delicious. And I was drinking it during the Smash last night.
Got a coaster here, everyone.
I got one right behind me when I do the show from the house too.
And Maurice also was he texted me this morning to let me know they're having an event on Thursday evening that is it's kind of one of those things, they like the paint and sip things. Like
that's fun. Have you ever done that? It's
I
fun.
have, yeah.
I did it. One of Stephanie and I's first date was painted with a twist.
Van Gogh?
And this is
Van Gogh?
I was really impressive.
Yeah. Was it?
Oh, it was awful.
Sure.
I hated it. I hated every minute of it.
But
except being with her.
I think this is one where it's like a rose painted on some piece of wood or something like that. But yeah, and you get the thing that you
crush some Tavello.
But basically, your partner's probably going to be doing the painting, and then you can just have some tasty beverages. They've got a variety of them. They've got
where is it?
It's Tavello.
They're doing
okay. The brewery?
Yeah. And it's not unlimited seating, so I'm not telling everybody to go rush out and go there Thursday, but they do events like that from time to time, and they're doing one on Thursday. If you call them, they can get you the information.
Let Maurice sort it out. As many of you need to run out there as possible, and then
flood
you get turned away at the door.
Tavello,
that's your own sorry.
Yeah, you sit in the street and do it. You can
Let Maurice deal with it.
It's conveniently located in downtown Thomasville, right there before you're getting to downtown Thomasville on your right-hand side. They have the tap room, and you can go when they don't have events, although they do bingo. They do all the normal bar type.
What about bingo
events.
Tonight? I'm feeling a little bingo.
I think they have bingo tonight.
It's tonight?
Yeah. You want to go up there? We can win it.
Y'all aren't going to bingo.
We could.
Don't let these people think you're going to be at bingo.
That's what Jeff does.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know. I may or may not be there tonight. Let's put it that way.
Those are the two options. I know which one's the heavy favorite.
Tavello's delicious.
You'd be good on a bingo team, though.
I would be. I mean, it's not hard.
You'd be good on a trivia team.
I'm very good on a trivia team.
I think tonight might be trivia.
Either way, it's fun, and the beer is good. Tavello, Thomasville, right by the red bricks there. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansfornoles.com. That is, again, loansfornoles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Noles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansfornoles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansfornoles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
Is your lunch break feeling a little bland? Escape the ordinary with a visit to Café de Martín. Whether it's a fresh ceviche or a steaming plate of arroz con pollo, our Peruvian flavors turn any lunch hour into a culinary adventure. Fast, flavorful, and always unforgettable. Café de Martín is your new go-to for lunch. Visit the menu online at cafedemartin.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay! Sausage.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Here's one I agree and disagree with. I get both sides of it, but I have echoed a similar sentiment that Garrett is expressing here. Can we as a fan base man up and stop crying about recruiting for now? There's plenty of time to flip and recruit kids before signing day. We did go 2-10 last year. It's a new staff. Let's take a deep breath and reassess when we get to December. Well, to his point, I do think that they're not going to do anything earth-shattering in recruiting until you offset the memory of 2-10. And you can't do that until you start playing games. I mean, they're just not going to get great players until those great players know that this team isn't a dumpster fire anymore.
Yeah, and I'm honestly, I've been surprised by, this past weekend was their first big official recruiting weekend. They had 15, 16 kids on campus for official visits. They did get one commitment, not a big-time guy, a 3-star lineman, but they're trending apparently. Picks have come in from some of the on-3 experts.
Will Fulton says that. I don't know, buddy.
For a 4-star wide receiver. Yeah. And there's some other
Carter's
guys.
Kid, maybe.
Yeah, Devin Carter apparently is trending in the right direction now for Florida State. So they've done some things this week, but even if you get the commitments in this summer, nobody's going to really feel good about them until you play games this fall, and then people decide whether they're going to stay.
You know who else was committed in the summer? Travis Hunter.
True.
And KJ Bolton.
Committed for a couple of summers.
Yeah.
But it's they're in a position right now where they're having to sell hope, which they can do to some degree because you do have a new staff without a new head coach. But even that's going to be very tenuous because you're going to have to win games to back it up.
It's cool to always have to sell hope.
Well,
they didn't always.
I know, but it feels like here we are 3 years later selling hope
But
again.
if you didn't fire 6 coaches or whatever, you wouldn't be able to sell that.
I would say that in the new world of recruiting, that people just need to be pragmatic. Like at the end of the day, unless you're Ohio State or Texas currently, and Georgia maybe to a degree, there's only about 4 or 5 teams. You really have no idea whether a kid who's verbally committed to you right now or not is going to be here when the time comes to sign. You have no idea.
Or the time comes for him to actually be a starter and contributor.
Well,
he might be somewhere else.
So even if he does come, you're right, he could be poached. It's just that, look, unless you're one of those programs that has it humming at the highest level, there are no guarantees. Let's just say this weekend would have featured 5 kids say, I'm committed to Florida State. Like, I'm not trying to poo-poo that. It's information that needs to be expressed. You need to know that. You need to maybe look at it and say, that's a positive. It's not a negative. But you can't walk down the road going, those guys are definitely Noles. You got no idea. And if you go out and lose by 35 to Alabama, watch how quick those 6 kids or whatever example I just used are decommitted.
Or wait till you beat Alabama by 35.
Correct. That's the other side of it. I mean, the door opens up to a lot of recruits if you beat Alabama.
Right.
Do you always wear your headphones like that?
No, sometimes I do.
Okay.
Probably the majority of the time.
You do? I've never noticed them like that.
Messes up my hair sometimes.
Oh, I get it, man. It's something I don't have to worry about. I get it.
There's not that much up there, so once there's not that much up there, so once I mess it up, it's out of control.
I was like, now look, man, it takes work
to make it look like I have some.
You can't be doing all this. Trailer Swift writes, between Mike telling us about all-American tackles, Link telling us about having too much depth in pitching, and all of these local singles in our areas wanting to date, where can we go for the truth these days? Seminole Headlines right here.
Yeah, we give you the truth.
Did Link say they had too much depth?
Well, he said that they were very excited about all the arms they had in the bullpen.
And they were. I know they were at one point.
They were. He's less excited about the development of those arms this year because, again, Had 5 or 6 guys that they were excited about. Didn't really work out.
Like, how does Holtz go from pitching 4 1/3 against North Carolina in an elimination game in Omaha and getting the win? Holtz had some big moments for them last year.
Yeah.
To being a non-factor all season.
He's a one-pitch pitcher.
Well, right, but he was last year too, and it worked.
And at some point, man,
it worked all the way up until Omaha. And if that pitch is on, he's good, especially against lefties. And then this year he comes in. I think he walked like 5 of the first 8 guys he faced, and then was essentially nothing. And then he got hurt, and then he wasn't a factor at all. It's like, where does that confidence? Where does it lost? You just want guys that either you can build their confidence up or come in like the kid from Tennessee. Although he got lit up. Shout out to Jamie Arnold, by the way. We didn't give enough credit to him. So the Tennessee kid, who I think is going to be drafted higher than him, their starter, that Doyle kid that talks all kind of S to everyone and is a badass and was really good all year. With his team's season on the line, he wet himself. He pitched 3 1/3, didn't look anything like he had all year.
It was glorious.
Yeah. Jamie Arnold, with his team on the line, goes out there and shoves
6 2/3.
6 2/3 after a rough first inning. Yeah, man, that was awesome from Jamie Arnold and Joey Vellini to pitch the way they did.
Especially in a situation where he doesn't need it personally. It wasn't like he needed to validate himself.
Yeah.
It might have been easy enough to just say, you know what, we're done here. Let me go get ready for the draft. And instead, he did battle, man.
Yeah,
he
man.
really competed.
That was awesome.
It was cool. And then even in the game where they got eliminated, you see him in the dugout, like on the edge of the dugout, standing. Like you could tell how much it meant to him, which was cool.
Should have gone to him in the 3rd inning.
By the way, it is interesting to watch a pitcher go through that. For people who were wondering, the 29 pitches in the first inning, 23 in the second inning, I think it was. He's at 60 through 3, which is a lot of pitches. But to watch a guy fight, and I think for him, and they even said it, I think in the post game, finding the depth on that slider, which is his plus wipeout pitch. That's a major league pitch that he has. It's cool to watch a guy go through that on a big stage because it's hard. I got to imagine you're trying not to panic because you're not getting the depth on your slider that you need for that to be the wipeout pitch, and you're trying to find the right slot for that. I mean, I never pitched. I don't know what that's like. But I like watching. You see it in MLB, and you see it with guys who have elite stuff. If they don't have it early, because I watch Skeens every night, right? He's got like 16 pitches. Right. Sometimes I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, man, he can't throw any of these for a strike right now. It's moving so much. And you'll watch him try to find it while just dialing up the fastball to
like
get
Charlie
out of
Morton.
And it's, who's on fire these days?
Yeah, he's
last start wasn't quite
picking the Orioles up.
Cool to watch guys go through that.
But, it's funny. And I really hadn't heard people talk about this. You hear people talk about that with pitchers all the time. But the Orioles interim manager was talking about hitters. He's like, in the major leagues, hitters only have their A swing, the swing they feel great about, a pretty small percentage of the time. The rest of the year, it's doing whatever they can with it because it's not their best swing. That's interesting. I didn't really thought about that. And it's
baseball's hard. It's like golf.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Guys, ball flight. When I went to the Masters with Trey, and he had a player that had won the British Am. And I'm watching them on the tee box. I'm in awe, first of all, just around these golfers. I'm looking around. There's freaking, every great golfer in the world. His kid is piping 300-yard drives down the middle and turning and looking at his swing coach and Trey like he's disgusted. And I don't want to say anything, but I'm in shock. And I look over at Trey at one point, and I'm like, what's he upset about? He goes, he's not turning it over the way he wants. I'm like, oh, yeah, 310 down the heart is a toughie.
Yeah, gusto.
It's just a toughie, but that's like how good those guys are to what your point is about refined swing being perfect, and it's unbelievable. Well, what in the hell are we supposed to do now that the bat to ball sports are over, kids? That's from Justin. It's when you go on vacation.
Go to vacation,
guys. It's when you go on vacation.
Mackay Danzy runs in the national.
He does.
National championship.
Actually went over and spoke to Mackay the other day. I have a story up at warchant.com.
All right,
Corey.
nice.
I have a story at Warchant today, later today, and a video up as well. Went and talked to him last week. They left for nationals, I think, on Sunday. His races will start tomorrow. Mackay Danzy's running a receiver on the football team. He's running the 400 and the 4x100 relay. And I thought this was interesting.
And he's got a chance to win both, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's been incredible. I asked him, because at the regional meet where he qualified for NCAAs, he didn't post a great time. And he's like, I was still coming back from the low time that he had set the FSU record, the ACC record. And he said, I was still recovering from that a little bit. And I said, yeah, what's your mindset going into – he's like, oh, my mindset is to dominate in the prelims. Like everything I run out there, I'm going to dominate. So it'll be interesting to see how he looks.
It'd be cool if he won a national championship in the 400 as a
really
football
cool.
player.
Also, from a confidence standpoint, he also says he never even knows who else he's racing against. He says he doesn't even
worried about him.
Doesn't care. I'm just going to run my race on where that's good. It's a good mindset.
Don't you think, fellas, that you got to find a way to use a weapon like
on the
that
football field
on the
this
football
fall?
field?
No.
Like, can you not find some sort of package?
Hey, the football
to
field's
use?
100 yards long, not 400 meters.
I mean,
He's
you know what I'm
pretty fast
saying?
in 100.
Is he? You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got to find a
He's on
way
a
to
4x100
utilize natural gifts like that. I mean, that's you don't get that every day.
And
What
that's,
are we doing?
That is, again, man, that's one of the things I'm excited about Gus Malzahn, because I do think that's how his mind works. I think he's focused on, that dude's special. Let me get him the ball.
Yeah.
And I thought Mike Norvell was supposed to be that. I thought he got away from that the last couple of
The
years.
wheel route. It was open a couple times.
Should have run it more.
Yeah. Should have run it once a series.
R.A. Noel says, gentlemen, can FSU play It Keeps You Running by the Doobie Brothers after every running third and short conversion? I like that.
That's not bad.
That's
Instead
not
of it's
bad.
another Florida State
You're
first
going to
down.
get tired of hearing It Keeps You Running by the Doobie Brothers, though, because they play fast, and if they're ahead of the chains like that, they're going to get a lot of third and short conversions.
Yeah.
And if every time you're hearing It Keeps You Running, that might get old quick. Imagine.
I do love some Doobie
It'd be
Brothers.
cool
I know,
if it did. Imagine if first downs
Yeah.
were played the first down
So
song was played so
frequently that you're
frequently. Like,
"Damn
all
it,
right,
can you
enough.
stop with
It's like
all the
Rocky
first
Top.
downs.
Get back to Ski Yee. Get that DJ back on
I
the
forgot about Ski Yee.
on the ones and twos.
If he goes on to say, if FSU made the kick in Miami in 91, I think they would have beat UF. Would that mean Weldon would have won the Heisman and end up on game day?
There's I don't know if that's a good question.
I mean, goodness
I
gracious,
definitely think that if they beat Miami, they beat Florida 2 weeks later.
I was at the game against Florida 2 weeks later with my very much alive
What a great
father.
time for my dad was alive too. I was there for the wide right with my dad.
Yeah, it was
probably
too.
the worst memory we ever had together.
Yeah,
Other than my grandmom dying.
Yep. Forlorn. By the way, was that 14-9?
Actually, same year. Yeah, it was. The Florida game was 14-9.
Yeah.
But I do think that if they make that kick, there is a chance that Casey wins the Heisman if he goes and beats Florida too.
Well, remember he had the flu against Florida. Half the team.
The whole team did. And it was a bunch of, and he was getting killed every time he dropped
By
back.
the way, that game, and I remember it well because it was in Gainesville, and that's before they had built up the stadium in Gainesville. So you were even with University Ave.
Yeah, you can see inside.
You can see inside on
You can
University
see the
Ave.
field, but you can see inside the stadium.
But isn't that awesome that their one open week, that whole season was between the Miami game, which was the 11th game on the schedule, and Florida, which was number 12. What a great schedule that was.
Brutal, right?
It was great.
I tell
You
people
got to
all the
live
time,
that Miami loss for 2 weeks.
When people look at a schedule at any time and say, boy, this is tough, I'm like, hey, I was around back in the day when you played Miami and Florida back to
end the season.
To end the year. That's a toughie. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Storms tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 91. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 91.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASE trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Tired of spending money on bug spray and inhaling all those fumes every time you want to go outside? Treat your yard so you can stop spraying your kids.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control has a solution to this persistent problem. Paul's has a program which seeks the grounds, flower bed, and shrubs. Paul's controls pesky mosquitoes year-round, which means you can take back control of your yard. Not only are mosquitoes a physical irritation, they also pose a potential health risk to people and pets. With Paul's targeted techniques, you can rest assured that your yard will be protected and your afternoons will stay fun.
Take back your yard. Don't let mosquitoes interrupt the fun. For more information, go to callcalls.com. for the elimination of termites or any other pest.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Pauls. We'll get them all.
Pauls can help eliminate fire ants from your lawn, too. We'll help you take your yard back.
He's the kind of dad who's always there for late night walks and talks, early morning rides, and every moment in between. This Father's Day, we want to honor a truly great dad with the ultimate dad prize. Free tickets to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a free round of golf for 4, and a well-deserved steak dinner. Nominate a dad who's made a difference in your life. Share his story at realtalk93.com today. Brought to you by the law offices of Basic Brooks, your personal injury attorneys.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Tony writes, so looking towards next baseball season, we kind of know what the core players, who the core players are. Does Cal get moved back to shortstop or stick at third? I think he's a plus third baseman, should stay there.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's turning his body into a third baseman. It looks like to me. I think
he's not quite athletic enough to be a high level shortstop, but he's a very good third baseman, I think.
Three of us agree wholeheartedly with the quickness.
And he's such an odd kid when he's batting. Like every time he takes a pitch, he turns his back to the pitcher and is kind of looking at the umpire like he's having a conversation. He'll do some walk arounds. He's a unique kid, man, and he had a really nice season this year.
Logan says, don't we need more taunting, not less taunting in celebrations in baseball? Mendez telling the kid to STFDLIB still has me fired up.
Yeah. He didn't do a whole lot of that against the Oregon State team. No. Maybe he should have.
Headlines.
Inbred was a nice twist there.
I did like that little added. That was a bonus.
I didn't know that
that was the I in his.
Okay.
Inbred.
Nice. Inbred. Yeah.
But now,
right,
but I don't think we probably didn't take into consideration the fact that he played at Ole Miss.
And the kid from Mississippi State had pitched at Miami. So I can imagine, and he pitched against that team last year. So I can imagine if he walked Cam Smith, what that was like, because Cam Smith would have just stared at him and grabbed his crotch and thrown his bat. By the way, why doesn't Cam do that with the Astros now?
It's weird.
It's weird when he walks. He doesn't just stand at the. He just doesn't stare at the pitcher.
So 92 Noel writes specifically to you, Ira, that you, Jeff, and Corey are like the Led Zeppelin of sports talk, unrivaled and one of a kind.
Oh, like and old.
Appreciate that.
2 questions.
How old? A lot of groupies.
Yeah, way too many groupies.
You guys should look out the window right now.
It's insane.
I mean,
it's insane.
We've got a secret exit we use most times, but
they rush us into our limo.
Yeah. 2 questions. How old is that headshot of yours, Ira?
It's not getting any younger.
No.
And number 2 is pretend your mouth's on against Alabama. What's your opening drive?
Touchdown.
Question.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
I'm calling the touchdown play.
I'm calling the touchdown drive.
Big.
Yeah.
Feels big.
It's a bit. You want to start the season off right.
Yeah.
Actually, last year they started off with a touchdown on their first drive.
And one of the greatest opening drives ever put together in any game ever.
It cursed the whole team in the whole season. So maybe this year you want a 3 and out.
I would, they're going to run their offense. And I'll just say this, 92 Noel. I'm sure you understand this. Go watch Gus Malzahn's offense. It doesn't vary much.
Yeah.
He's going to run what he runs.
Castellanos is going to keep it on 1 around the end and try to get you a first down. So you can play that Doobie Brothers song.
I wouldn't run out wide on first.
They can't. They don't got nothing for him.
Maybe they'll be backed up inside the 5.
No, don't do that.
Play action. Deuce Robinson for 95 yards.
Yeah, because Alabama's going to get the ball first.
Stacking the box.
Alabama's going to get the ball first. They're going to have a 3rd and 4 at your 37, and then James Williams sacks them.
Right.
So they got to punt, and they're going to pin you deep at the 5. First play, 95 yards, Deuce to the house.
So it's the Winky to Menace.
Yes.
Yeah. He's going to put it behind his back.
First
turn his back even.
Yep.
The bold confidence to turn your back and trust that new.
Well, he's going to look at the
offensive line.
He's going to look at the video board to see if anybody's coming. Take a peek at the video board, then turn back around and just throw. And Deuce is just going to be standing there midfield, just waiting on the ball.
Get it to him.
Get it to him.
Get it to him.
Yep.
Jerry wants to know what we have to do to improve our chances. By ours, he's talking about FSU, of getting out of the ACC sooner. He just wants to get out sooner.
Let's just get back to that.
Can we get out of here
teams
sooner?
Can we get sooner than 2030 is possible, but we don't know when.
That's funny. Somebody posted a meme with somebody shaking a sausage. They just want to say yay to register sausage,
right,
but
good.
it's that. So there's all of that. All right, back. I don't understand what's going on, Corey. What are you doing on Facebook?
I didn't do anything.
Because
I just asked for questions and comments and compliments.
Here's the beauty of this. It's great that people do respond. It's not as great that they write novels. I got questions that are 6.5 paragraphs long over here. Can we stop with the nonsense?
It's Facebook crowd. Yeah, that's right. It might be a great one.
I'm not reading it.
Oh, well, fair.
Man, back in the day, I remember Jeff Cameron who would read a good
I know. That was a younger Jeff. Jeff.
I'm a cantankerous Jeff.
Yeah, he's old. He's living.
I don't have time for your 5-paragraph questions. Maybe we'll get to them later. David writes,
later. What is that?
Over beers.
Let me talk. We'll meet at Tavello and go through these.
Talk over that? All right.
We got all the time in the world up there. David writes, if Norvell bombs out, can FSU afford a new coach? So, that's been debated.
Well, it just gets back to the whole,
why not
can you afford to not make a change? Can you afford to?
Can you hire the best high school coach in Florida? Give him $1 million. Give him a cool mill, and then just the other $7 million, it goes to your quarterback.
Or buying out Mike Norvell.
Well, I think Norvell's a good enough guy that he's going to give most of that money back. Yeah, he's not going to take that. He's like, you know what? I'll let you guys down. Here's that money back.
History of good people giving back money.
I didn't live up to my own expectations or yours. So here's the money
back. Go get yourself a good coach.
I know I'm generationally set for life, but I don't want to be. Here you go. I didn't earn it. Let's give it back. Terry says, hello, boys. What's shaking? Has our fan base ever been more negative? I actually saw posts after the game calling for Link to be fired. Fire everyone every year? Come on now. I know it's frustrating, but take a breath. That's fair, Terry. I do think we're in a negative mind.
I would also say, legitimately make fun of anyone that says something so stupid.
Yes, of course.
Like, it's college baseball. It's hard. Like, that's the beauty of this year.
By the way,
hope
1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 9 are all gone.
I think it's 7 conferences are represented out of the 8 that are still left. The 8 teams that are left are from 7 different conferences. It's hard to win.
Link
has been to 4 super regionals in 5 years. I don't know that there's another coach in America that's done that.
Those people are going to come out no matter what.
Yes, they're dumb. Don't pay attention.
That's where I wish they had just played well in that Friday game. In a lot of areas,
play well. They stupid base running,
right? But that's what you gave the fodder.
Correct.
For people that.
Yeah, because what did he do wrong on Sunday? He started as number 3 starter. They had a guy that was not a starter.
That's what people say. I should have got him out earlier.
Yeah, because Manka was going to just you don't have any good options, which is an issue. But I don't know that you blame Link for that. He was 1 out away essentially on Friday from being in Omaha for a second straight year. He's got a good program, a really good program. He's a good coach.
All right, I'm going to do the right thing here. This is Lawrence, okay?
Okay.
And he wrote a lot of stuff here. Hey, fellas, this might be a little long-winded. He knew he got out in front of it.
Yeah, that's good. As long as you do that, you can
have
as much wind as you want.
He even went on to say, and I apologize.
Oh, well, there you go, Lawrence. Good job.
But I'd like to elaborate. I moved to the Panhandle 7 years ago this month. Didn't know anyone or what I was in for.
2018.
But I love it here and the people. I'm a Gator fan, but have had basketball season tickets for FSU for the last 6 years.
That's interesting.
You all and I don't agree on damn near anything.
Okay.
Other than our mutual love for college sports. I've never felt so bad for a team than the FSU basketball season COVID year. That was an awesome team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
agreed.
was an awesome team. Final Four bound, in my opinion, for sure. I was at the UM game for 4th and 14 and rooted my ass off for the Noles, and I got to every FSU baseball game that I could. I just want to let you guys know that I listen to the JCS every day, Seminole Headlines every Tuesday. He loves all the shows. He says it's the best, all of it. Great
Better be
job.
a Warchant subscriber too.
I'm assuming he is, and I'm assuming he listens to everything and all the things that we do. And he also thinks it's very, very cool that Bryce, my oldest, is in Europe right now.
But he's a Gator fan?
But he's a Gator fan. We get that a lot. Seminole Headlines is listened to by Miami fans, Florida fans. I think that's true of the JCS and Wake Up Warchant. I think it's true, period. I just think that there's an entertainment value provided by the three of us that transcends.
It's unrivaled. It's unrivaled. Yeah.
University,
Great. Yeah. Good work, Lawrence. I'm glad you read that question.
Woo! I'm tired from reading that question. Good job.
Wasn't even a question. It was just a comment, but it was a much appreciated one.
I would say that though. So let me ask you guys this, because if you were to, when you retire from this business, I don't even want to think about the day that either of you guys is out of this business. But if you do
this market,
and say you move to Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, I'm not going to.
Would you
the
go
capital
to
of the Confederacy.
Would you go to VCU games just to see college sports, or if you moved to whatever? If you moved to,
I would. I think I would.
What I wonder.
Like I could see myself legitimately retiring in the Triangle in North Carolina, and like always going to like a baseball, like Duke's playing and then North Carolina's playing, or going to those basketball games. 2 basketball games a day.
It's normal to adapt or have an affinity for a hometown professional. Like if let's say I moved to Seattle for some reason, I'd go to. I'd go to Mariners games.
No, he wouldn't. He'd go to vintage record stores.
Of course I would.
And coffee
wineries.
shops. Yeah.
I do that anyhow. But the point would be, I'd do that. But I still love sports. I'd go see the Mariners play, and I would root for them to do
But what about colleges?
UW?
Not major league.
I'd go see UW. I'd go see Washington play.
I'd go see I think it'd be cool just to go watch a college baseball game with 800 other people.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to think of Lawrence's situation here. So he maybe he moved to the Panhandle for a job.
I do love college
military,
sports.
something like that. Florida State's not that far away.
Would you get season tickets is the thing. He got season tickets to basketball.
I feel like I would, because all the good
ACC
players
games,
that you get to come through, you get to say, oh, I saw Cooper Flagg play in well, you didn't know because they didn't come here, but you know what I mean? You get it. You got to see
Zion when he came.
Zion.
Yeah.
I was trying Donnie Lawal.
I do feel bad for the UF
that name came to mind.
I feel bad for the Gator podcaster if he's comparing to us.
Well, there's no comparison, man.
That's awful.
This media.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Yeah. You're either good or you're not.
Right. Yeah. And we got experience. We've got wealth. By the way, speaking of, real quick, not my own personal shout out necessarily, but I do hit a big number on Saturday. My birthday is Saturday, June 14th, Flag Day, everyone, and it's a big number.
45?
30.
30.
Congratulations. I had prematurely gray, as everybody knows.
Join the 50 club, baby.
I had Brady when I was 13.
I'm glad that you're turning 50.
It's going to be awesome.
My birthday's tomorrow.
Oh, is it really?
That's correct.
What are you, 80?
No.
55?
I finally catch Ira.
It was
we're old. We need to stop. This is the last time we ever mention our age, because people are going to hit click. They're like, oh, these old sons of.
It is interesting that I've realized recently that for the last 5 months I've been in my mind a year younger than I really am.
I did that.
Yeah.
So
I did that. I was a year older.
Pretty much.
You've gone into denial.
3 years ago, I thought I was 48 the whole year, and I was 47. Like,
that actually worked out.
It was awesome. It's like, wait, I'm only turning 48 right now.
But this weekend you turn 50.
I do. Yeah. And happy Father's Day to everyone, too.
You can see it around your eyes and on the
forehead. I know. I got the crow's thing you do, and I got the gray.
I'm just effing with you.
Yeah.
Just messing with
I
you.
know. I got it.
I don't want to ask any more questions. Jason noted that it was my birthday tomorrow, and now we noted that it's Corey's this weekend. So that's good. We all got our love in. And
yep, we're a Father's Day for all of us many of you guys on Sunday as well.
Celebrating all fathers everywhere, and it'll be
what
good.
Would you
Not
recommend?
My father.
What would you recommend to some of the listeners, some of our many female listeners right now, as they're looking for Father's Day presents? What do you think people should? Are you more about events?
I'm more about experiences.
Or are you more for
So, for example, I'm leaving this week. I'm
passionate, sensual experiences.
We can't talk about that on the air.
Okay, all right. Be good.
I got one lined up for this weekend, but I'm just saying. So I leave town this week. I'm leaving after tomorrow's show. I'll be back on Monday, and I'm going to get out of town, and we'll have a blast. But it's about the experience.
See, I told Kim. Now I paid for what we did last week and went to a show in North Carolina.
So you got screwed. She didn't step
up.
No,
I actually I was like, this can be my Father's Day. Like this was we had a great time.
You're not even her father though. That isn't.
Well, she still gives me Father's Day presents.
Right. Also, he is the father of the 3 children they have together.
You're also daddy.
Hey, I don't need to know about Charlotte's hotel room. I don't need to know anything about all that.
Yeah, so Daddy's Day.
Yeah.
Not Father's Day. It's Daddy's Day.
Flag Day used to be when I responded to all the emails that I haven't responded to for the year.
On Flag Day?
On Flag Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can now because it falls on a weekend and I'll be out of town. That's the way it works. Maybe that Monday. That Monday. Say goodbye, boys.
Happy birthday, Corey.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. And happy Flag Day to everyone who celebrates. That's on Saturday.
Well,
and happy Father's Day to all the people with living fathers out there.
With living fathers only.
I'll call mine tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he's supposed to call me.
Nice.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Happy for you.
I'll text my dad's old number.
What if he responds?
Yeah,
that's a Twilight Zone.
I'm going to listen to that voicemail I've saved all these years.
Goodbye. Goodbye. For Ira and Corey, I'm Jeff. Hey, listen, bonus hour coming up next. Peace.